Okay, well, what a wonderful and a splendid scrap. Taz is psychotic beyond extreme, yet actually probably slightly batted under his average for most of the game. 3 of the 4 combats he rolled poorly in the first turn. The one time he properly went off, it was on the weakest unit, it was on one of these. But devastating whenever he appeared, possibly a touch too tough. I think we might need to look at him or look at the points. But very characterful, very exciting for a dwarf army. Very confusing having cavalry, I can tell you that. Having a unit that charges hither and thither. These boys, great job, and were involved in probably the two pivotal moments in the battle. Actually, them and Taz. Firstly, they didn't hold the golems. They stopped the attack on the right, and then swept in and took off the second wave. Steamrolled the second wave. My plucky unit out on the right hand side absolutely did its job, stood behind the fence and didn't let the line break. Iron Guard, less useful, still slowed them down, still there for a good few turns, but didn't get any licks back in. These are actually pretty tough units. I think you're a touch unlucky. And you're against the dwarven line that doesn't like breaking.
Mm-hmm.
I think this attack came and I managed to just delay it and break it up enough that I could getting shots off and picking units off. I thought we did quite well against the gargoyles. They came in, took out an organ gun first. Actually, a chap took out a first organ gun. We held there, and the left flank, which was actually very strong, never really got into the battle.
No,
actually, except for the dogs. Did a cracking job on one of your golem units.
5 points of damage to a golem unit.
Yeah, and then a good follow-up roll. So thoroughly enjoyable battle, really excellent fun. I think the couple of the moments that would have meant it was a very close game both went with me. I think I got them not running and yours going.
Needing a 10 to break the regiment of golems and getting a 10.
In fairness, I did have a run up with that though. I did have to run from the top of the stairs all the way.
Yep, you did.
But I think getting that roll probably moved me in my favour. I think that may have kept you going for longer or whichever way. I think once those big unit regiment of golems are gone, it was going to be hard for you to mount a strong enough punch to really cream. I still had these couple of units here. I suspect if your golems were there, that still would have been. But when they went, that was it. I think when they stayed on, it made it quite quick and quite decisive because they could then.
And this guy hit in absolutely no times.
5 goes.
5 goes, 5 misses. Fantastic.
They would have done. That would have been nasty if that had come.
Cannon got a couple of hits in as well, didn't it?
Yeah. Do you want me to hold the camera and you do yours?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's swap it around. So. He's still looking bearded at this point.
still looking bearded at this point. Yeah, no, absolutely. As Ronnie said, my shock troops went in and quite literally bounced against well-defended dwarven armour. We had an issue with my speedy golems charging forwards out on their own and bouncing back and just not taking the return hit, which they should take the return hit. It's just somebody being very jammy and springing a special character on me, but that's all I'm going to say. The Baroque Riders, they look good on paper and they play brilliantly on the table. There's nothing worse than those guys hitting your flank and just rolling up your line. 60 attacks into the side of golems. Okay, no crushing strength, but that's a bucket of dice. It is absolutely going to hurt.
I thought the best move I did with those was when I didn't take the unit in front but hooked right.
Yeah, you dodged. I mean, if you read the battle report, I think it was turn 2, I put Abyssal Half-Breed unit in the woods just teetering, asking to be charged. And he went, no, I'll go for the ones just behind. And that would have been brilliant because they would have been charging in 30 attacks, hitting on 5s. I would have been in a perfect position to flank him. But Ronnie, being a somewhat 30-year-old veteran of wargaming, didn't fall for it. More's the pity. Losing my Abyssal Half-Breed champion, he went foolishly off on his own without support. And then got jobbed by 3 characters all at once. He did well to survive as long as he did, but he didn't make his points back. The shambling guys were just, because I was attacking him in waves, just weren't getting across the board. I wasn't able to bring enough of my army to bear in once. And the Angarok mortar just absolutely let me down. But I tell you what I do love, and what I will be running in every Abyssal Dwarf army that I can, is these flame units. They are lovely. And also the decimators. I'm sorry, for the scare tactics, I know they've only got a 12-inch range, but they really are quite good, especially when they're in a second wave.
One of each of those nearly took was the only thing, and they put all those wounds on that Brot unit.
Yeah, and I was just very unlucky to roll a double one, especially when most of your minions from the warehouse were up here watching.
Yeah, no one noticed.
No one noticed. But yeah, a thoroughly brilliant day, thoroughly enjoyable, and I'm going to be going home possibly a little bit colder than when I came up here. Anyway, thanks very much, Ronnie. Brilliant day.
Come on, Chris.
Cheers.